Hello, welcome to Boys Town. It's actually a beautiful sunny fall day here in the village of Boys Town today. The boys and girls are in school. We have people coming for our medical programs. So it's a really busy time right now in the village of Boys Town. And this is actually History Week. We are celebrating our over 100 history here at Boys Town. We have many stories of our boys and girls who lived with us, Father Flanagan, the different directors we've had. All of them have contributed to our history here in the village of Boys Town. So all throughout this week, please tune in every day, and we'll have a special event going on. Tomorrow we'll be talking to some of our alumni. We'll be learning about Father Flanagan's international work, how it continues today. We'll be having a little quiz on Friday to see if you know our history of Boys Town. And then we're going to do a special tour. We're actually going into the city of Omaha and visiting locations where Father Flanagan worked in and how he created Boys Town, the city of Omaha, before moving out to our village of Boys Town. Today we have something really exciting. We've never done this before. We're actually doing a behind-the-scenes tour of some of our special spaces here in the village of Boys Town. And this is where we store from the Hall of History special items, what we call architectural items. These are items that are too large to put in a box or actually store in our building itself. So here on campus, luckily one of the old large buildings has some basement space. So we're down in the basement of this building today, and we're going to look at some of the items we have saved. And in this space, we have very special items. These are items that have come from our old high school here on campus. It was designed by Father Flanagan in 1946, and thousands of boys and girls used the school for many years until our current school was built. And as the old school was going to be deaccessioned and no longer used anymore, I was given the privilege to wander through the building, and I actually selected items to be saved. So we have a lot of architectural items saved from the old school and other buildings here on campus that we put into this space. So it might look kind of junky, but this is where it's like a collection. People have basements and attics. This is kind of like our little Boys Town attic, where we can put items here for safekeeping, and then eventually we can use in other buildings. But as I mentioned, our high school, I'd like to show you a couple images of the old high school. We have them right here. This is a picture of the old high school built by Father Flanagan in 1946, used up until the last few years ago. And this is what the old building looked like here on campus. You can see the boys standing in front of the building. Used and loved by the children for many, many years. We needed a new contemporary school because education has evolved and changed. And just like Boys Town, we got to evolve and change. But as the building was going to be taken down, we went in, we were saved items. You can see right here this door. And you're going to be seeing that because this is one of the doors that we saved here. But you can see the old desks that the kids had and the classrooms, how they were set up in the 50s and 60s. And again, we had to evolve and move on from that old school. So that's why our new school was created. But again, I was permitted to go through the school and save numerous items. And I have some of the items right over here I'd like to show you. We have some of the doors that were used in the offices here on campus, and you can see they're heavy, heavy doors, solid wood doors. And then this is one of the classroom doors we were able to save. The glass you can see from the photographs. So this is one that we were able to save too. And again, these are special architectural items that we can use here. You'll never get doors like this created again. You can see the nice heavy locks that were put on the doors, the heavy brass locks, all again created and selected by Father Flanagan. We actually, in the Hall of History archives, we have documents describing the vendors who provided the doors, the glass, the locks, everything, because everyone is so excited to be part of the building project when these buildings were built back at the end of World War II, that they were very proud to be part of it. So we have saved all these, so gradually as buildings are restored and remodeled here on campus, we can reuse these items in the schools or in the other buildings that we're going to remodel here. So it's a very special privilege that we're able to save these. And I even got some more over here too. This is a whole nother stack you can see over here, that doors that we have saved. And we have, again, going to use those again here on campus, along with some old school desks that were saved over the years. These are some pews that came out of one of our chapels here on campus. Again, these are beautiful pews that eventually are going to be used again in the future in some other facility here on the grounds. We actually have even a cross that was saved from one of the old chapels here right now too, and some of the old desks and chairs that the kids used back in the time. Again, these have to be changed out every few years because of the styles change and for safety of the boys and girls. So we always say, save us a few and we can store them in our area down here and we can use them. And we got some really unique items too that we were able to save. We actually have some lockers, and these were the lockers that were used by the boys and girls at the school for many, many years. So we were able to save some of the lockers too. So we have those here preserved in our storage area too that eventually we can use someday. They're they're still operable. You can open them up and just think of all the hundreds of boys and girls that have used these lockers over the many years here on the campus in the village of Boys Town. And then we have some of the big signs they had in the school too, in the hallway, these big boards that they had. They were for putting awards and special announcements. So we have saved all those also so we can use those again in the future here on campus. And we have some of the really, you can see these old bookcases that go back even to the 1930s, because these were used probably by Father Flanagan in the original library. They have survived all these years, almost 100 years old at this point, and we'll be able to use those too as we remodel and add new spaces here on campus for the boys and girls. And we have even some more lockers over here also too that have been kept too, so we have a wide variety of items we can use. Then down here on the floor, it's kind of hard to see, we have a scale. This is one of the scales that we've used for many years in the classrooms here on campus too. So that's been saved here and brought over here. Everything it's kind of in a state, it's going to be cleaned and inventoried and all put into the system eventually as we get moving. But we're so happy that we're able to have the space and preserve these items, because this is part of our heritage here at Boys Town, because it helps our boys and girls today to understand where we've come from and our future, and then we can bring some of those items that Father Flanagan had and create for the boys and girls actually to be here in the village of Boys Town. So it's a very unique space that we have here. And that's part of History Week. We wanted to talk about our history and our uniqueness that we have in America of serving kids and families of all different children, different races and religions from the beginning. And that's why we're such a special, unique community here in the village of Boys Town. And there's something else I'd like to show you that just came in recently to us, because as we clean out some of our old buildings here on campus, the other day they called me and they said, we found something, could you please come down and check it out? So I went to our warehouse and found it, and it's the original cover for Father Flanagan's tomb. It was put on Father's tomb in 1948. He passed away in Berlin, Germany. He was brought back from Germany and he was buried at our Catholic chapel in a special tomb. And then in 1977, Father Hupp said Father needed a new tomb, so he built our beautiful tomb we have now in Dowd Chapel for Father Flanagan. So the old cover of the Father's tomb had to be replaced. And so luckily it was saved. So from 1977 to just a few weeks ago, it had been stored in the basement of one of our old buildings here. So now it's been brought over to our security location here. So now we'll be able to use it. So what we can do is we'll walk over and we'll take actually a look at it. It's a very unique item that's been saved. But before we do, I actually have a photograph of it. This is an image of when President Harry Truman came and laid flowers in Father Flanagan's tomb just 2 days after his funeral. And what's unique about the image, we have some Flanagan family members. We have Mr. Pat Norton, Father Flanagan's nephew, that was with him when he passed away in Berlin, Germany. We have President Truman laying flowers on Father's tomb. And we have Miss Nellie Flanagan's, Father Flanagan's older sister, who was like his housekeeper and really took care of him. She has often been described as the angel of Boys Town. And then this priest right here is Father Walsh. And Father Walsh was the priest who took over at Boys Town for the few months until Monsignor Wegner came. And on Walsh Drive, we have Walsh Drive named for him here in the village of Boys Town. So this tomb cover that we have here is very unique, because it was where Father Flanagan rested underneath it for many, many years. We had a President of the United States actually touch it too. So it's got a very special kind of history provenance with it. So we're going to walk over right now. We can take a look at it. As you can walk through here, we're walking through this old building storage areas we have down below. There's kind of a big, dark, long hallway. It gives you some sense how big our buildings are here at Boys Town. That you can see the length of that hallway there, how it goes back. All the different structures here on campus that were created for the kids. And then in this space here, this is an extra storage room that we have here on campus that they allow us to store things. And we have right over here in the corner on this pallet is the cover for Father Flanagan's tomb. And again, this was broken in two, and so the two pieces have been saved. But what's unique about it, you can see the gold has been preserved. So you can see the Boys Town, and then you can see May 15th when Father Flanagan passed away. That's all been preserved. And we're lucky it was kind of a clean break, so we're hoping to restore it eventually, and then we can put it on display so people can see that. But it's a unique item. It's actually potentially a relic. If Father Flanagan does become a saint, he actually rested underneath there, so it's a unique relic connected to Father Flanagan. So it's a very special item that has been saved here, and we hope again to have it restored and put on display in the future someday. So it's all part of this unique history we have here at Boys Town. You never know what someone's going to find something one day and call up and say, hey, we have something, can you come look at it? And then we can discover it's a special part of our history, and then we preserve it here and keep it. And we're very lucky Boys Town wants to do that. We're very thankful at the Hall of History that the administration here knows the importance of our history, and that's why they help to promote it, because our history is really the history of America. We're going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary of America next year, and the story of Boys Town fits right into the history of America, because we've been serving and helping children across the United States, even around the world, for over 100 years. Millions of boys and girls and families have been helped by our programs. So what Father Flanagan started here with $90 over 100 years ago has now blossomed to serve people around the world and across America. So it's a very special place and community that we have here in the village of Boys Town. And you're always welcome to come and visit us. You can come in and visit the museum anytime and visit Father's tomb at the chapel and learn more about our community programs that we have here, and how you can also support Boys Town too if you go to boystown.org. It's a beautiful time right now to visit the building, visit the village of Boys Town. The fall is changing, the leaves are changing, it's cooling down. So we encourage everyone to come and visit whenever they can. And I want to thank you for joining me today in kicking off History Week by going behind the scenes into a special location most people never get to see. And I hope to see you throughout the week when we have other special presentations in our history here at Boys Town. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And again, to go to boystown.org if you'd like to learn how you can support Father Flanagan and his ministry. And I hope to see you soon in the village of Boys Town. Thank you for joining me today.